Tune in, iTunes, and Radio Loyalty. We're going to get Rob Furman on the line, and he is going to join us here in just a few moments. And
hello?
I believe there's Rob Furman. How are you, sir? It is James Lowe calling you for your radio interview. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Pretty good, actually. We are going to go grab our co-host here on our big broadcast, the fabulous Jaybird Wells. And while we wait on her, check out our website, JiggyJaguar.com. Also, find us on Facebook and iTunes, Radio Loyalty as well. And Rob Furman is our guest here on Skype Audio. He joins us live. And Jaybird Wells, I believe, will be joining us here in just a few seconds. And Rob, tell us a little bit about yourself, my friend.
Oh, well, I'm an elementary principal in South Park, Pennsylvania, and yes, that is a real place. It has nothing to do with the cartoon, however. To make matters worse, I saw the cartoon. We named our second child Kyle. So
that is awesome.
Also the father of Kyle from South Park.
That is awesome.
That combination. Yeah, I do a lot with the future of education. I'm a co-founder of the Council on the Future of Education. I do a lot of presenting on the need for educational change. And an educational revolution is really what we need. We just need to sort of turn that whole thing upside down and start from scratch because there's so many things that need to be changed. So that's what I talk a lot about.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Jaybird Wells with us today as well on the telephone here, or on Skype Audio. And Rob Furman joins us here on our big broadcast. And Rob, you've been involved in all sorts of different projects. There is a lot going on in the world around us. Tell us a little bit about your latest project, my friend.
Well, right now I'm finishing up writing a book on reading and dealing with reading and technology and how to really start moving that in a more 21st century direction. That's my current project. And then also the Council on the Future Education is a huge project right now because there's just not enough conversation going on about pulling education out of the doldrums of the Industrial Revolution when it was created back in 1892 by the Committee of 10.
Yes.
Everything had to be standardized. And now we're looking down, 21st century, and we're still doing things like they did way back then. So those are my two main projects and main goals and main passions because we got to get kids reading. We know all the benefits of that kind of stuff, and we have to start using their technology in order to make it happen because the old traditional ways just really have to get going. They have to push aside so we can go towards the more modern era here. For our kids' sake, if you think about it, 10 years, let's say when our seniors this year were in elementary school, they didn't have Facebook, they didn't have Netflix streaming, they didn't have Instagram, they didn't have iPhones, they didn't have iPads. So in just 10 short years, look at how much education has been impacted by all of those things that have came up. But yet, nobody's talking about the need to make these major changes.
They're pushing it a lot in schools, and one of the problems with that is a lot of students don't have access to internet, and the teachers will send them home like homework on the internet, but like a lot of rural places, they don't have high-speed internet. And then also they're really pushing Facebook on these kids, and there's a lot of them are getting into trouble talking to strangers they shouldn't be talking to or signing up for dating sites. I mean, this is not what we should be pushing on our children.
Well, there's two different points you made there. One with the internet or lack thereof. The last time a group did a broadcast of how much internet coverage students have in grades K through 12, we were at 96% coverage. So the idea of not having internet really isn't an effective argument anymore because they do. Maybe they're not prioritizing it. Maybe they're not choosing to purchase it.
I disagree.
It is there, and they can use it if they choose to.
No, we were told that we had to have $2,000 to get internet to our door and $500 a month by two different companies. So
yeah, Rob, Jay lives out in the middle and absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, that argument doesn't plague me because I live in it, and I don't have the grocery money, let alone the internet money, to
well,
sit
for
here
$2,000, yeah, I would say you need to find another company because
there is
I know there are a lot of groups out there, federal groups that are doing $10 a month internet service fees for people that are in rural areas and poverty areas and all sorts of different areas in order to give them the option to have coverages. And a lot of the public libraries are getting grants now to put together coverages for the internet. And the thing is, that's the way the world's going. So if they don't have coverage, we as a society need to help them get coverage. I mean, even Elon Musk sent over his weather balloon Wi-Fi's over to third world countries to give them internet. It's very much a main staple at this point. So we really need to get that coverage if it's not in the the most rural areas of the United States. But the last quote I read was about 96% coverage to 98% coverage in the United States. In terms of the social media that you were referring to, that's again, at least in my opinion, a parenting thing. If you've got children that are on social media, they have to be taught the right and wrong way to do those things. They have to be taught, how to use those products. It's called digital citizenship. Every student is going to end up being a citizen of the cyber world. It's the way things are moving in that direction, and they're actually already here. So we need to be able to teach these kids this is the right way to do it, this is the wrong way to do it. Just like anything else that comes up that's new, there has to be a learning curve, and the kids have to be taught by their parents right and wrong, and the parents have to use it the right way too. We are their first model. Parents are their first model. They're also their first teacher before any public school or private school teacher gets their hands on these kids. The parent is the first teacher. So they've got to be the ones to step up and say, yeah, this is the right way to do it, and this is the wrong way to do it. Parents let their kids go on their devices. They lock themselves in the bedroom. You don't know what they're doing. That's ridiculous. As a parent, you put that kid in the living room, say, if you want to use it, that's fine. But guess what? I'm standing right here beside you, and I'm watching what you're doing. So yeah, we can't treat these kids like adults and expect them to get through this stuff.
That can't always happen when you've got both adults working 1 to 3 jobs in the house. The society has changed completely, where the parents are not able to watch their kid 24/7.
Well, somebody better be watching them. That's the nature of a child. They need to be watched by an adult, by a guardian. And that guardian, like if it was my child, I would make darn sure that guardian understands my rules and follows my rules, or else they're no longer going to be responsible for my child.
We've got Rob Furman with us today. He joins us live here on iHeartRadio, AM/FM, 247.com, TuneIn, iTunes, and Radio Loyalty. And Rob Furman's website, robfurman.com, ROBFURMAN.com. He is the best-selling author. He is also a national keynote speaker, Huffington Post education blogger as well. And he joins us today here on our big broadcast as we wrap up our day here on iHeartRadio and AM/FM, 247.com. Now, Rob, tell us a little bit about some of your speaking engagements, some of the different things that you do around the country.
Well, actually, just yesterday I had a wonderful opportunity. I was down at the University of Maryland. I did their TEDx talk. So it was my second TED Talk that I've done. The first one I did was a TEDx Youth in Shadyside, and now I just did one for the University of Maryland. Great experiences. They're really... It's a very different experience than doing, say, a keynote or a breakout session, because you've got 20 minutes and you want to just hit home your passionate topics and your passionate ideas within those 20 minutes. And that'll be online soon, I'm sure, on the TEDx YouTube channel. But that's always a really fun, exciting experience. I did that. Next week I'll be down at the Mid-Atlantic Personalized Learning Conference, actually right here in Pittsburgh, so it'll be a short drive for me. It'll be nice. And then I'll be at ISTE, the International Society for Technology and Education, in Chicago here in June.
Fantastic. Well,
you got any more books coming out?
Yes. Do you have any more books or anything in the pipeline?
I do have one more book that I'm just finishing up writing, and hopefully it'll get picked up here shortly. And it's dealing with reading and how important it is to get kids to read 20 minutes a day. And we talk about a lot of best practices that teachers can use to get kids interested and involved in reading. And then, of course, using the technology to sort of help drive that interest and drive that excitement for the kids. Reading is one of those things that it's when you think about it from a base level, it's very frustrating because we know through research that just having the kids read 10, 15, 20 minutes a day can make some major differences in their kids' academic lives. But yet we don't put a whole lot into making that happen. I mean, you ask a kid, I guarantee you they probably know the next video game that's coming out, when the next movie's coming out, TV's coming out. They're bombarded by these things on television through commercials and everything else. But yet they don't have any clue when the next book might be coming out or something that's interesting to them in terms of actual physical reading. So, we're doing it to ourselves. So we're pushing, trying to get kids to make their own advertisements for books and things like that so that kids know the interesting things that are out there. It's hard to get an interest in books when they don't even really know what's out there to read. That would be interesting.
Well, as we wrap up here with you, Rob, how do we get a hold of you online, social media, book you for speaking engagements, all these things?
Well, robfurman.com, like you said, would be a great place to get a hold of me. Also, I'm very active on Twitter. It's at Dr. Furman, at Dr. Furman. So you can get a hold of me there. My website's obviously the easiest way to contact me. Please, call me get me a hold of me via